This is a very long income statement. And they made it that way because they didn't just tell you the cost of goods sold. They want you to figure it out. And you're going to figure it out by placing it in certain items, in certain places. But to help, to visualize it, I think it really helps on this one to make a T account for inventory. With this T account, we're going to then be able to determine the final number, what they want us to get to, which is our cost of goods sold. Okay, so using some of these numbers, I want to be able to fill in the inventory T account to get to the cost of goods sold. So they tell us there at the very beginning, very top, first sentence, that we have a beginning inventory on January 1 of $56,130. Now, they tell us everything else that happened with that inventory, including the turning around and selling it. But I want to figure out how much should my inventory, I need to figure out all the inventory costs and if they're added or subtracted. If I pay freight in for inventory to come into my business, and I paid for it, how do I account for that? Do I account for that as a shipping expense, or an adding to my inventory, or a deduction? Adding, yeah. That's an item that gets the item ready to sell. So that's one of the items, my purchase, I'm going to add in $4,830. Not purchase, shipping. And I paid that freight in to get those purchases. Those purchases are now my inventory. So I would have debited my inventory for additional $503,430. So what they're doing in this problem, instead of combining it into one inventory number like we do, they're showing you each cost broken down, and then you're supposed to put it in the right spot. Purchase discount. If I paid for the inventory, I'm the buyer, I got a purchase discount on that inventory. What's that going to do to my inventory?
Reduce it.
Yeah, it's going to reduce it. So I'm going to have $72.10 coming off of my inventory. What if I return some of that inventory because it's not right? I don't want it. What's that going to do to my inventory?
Decrease.
Decrease. Now, I'm going to skip the next three because those are part of sales. That's me actually selling it. The very bottom line of that top section tells us the ending inventory, $66,130. Thus, something goes here as my cost of goods sold. I got rid of lots of inventory because I sold it. I had this much to start with. I added in some purchases, subtracted out the little bit of a discount and returns that I had. The rest of it I sold to get me to this number. So when we're looking at this, what's the first thing that always goes on the top of an income statement besides the title? not going to fill in every blank, but some of them here. What's the first thing that always goes on the income statement? Revenue. Of course, I'm just going to list the revenue that they gave me. The $803,000. What's next on the income statement? Right below the revenue. Add or less what?
Less.
Good.
Returns.
Okay. Sales returns. What else?
Sales discount.
Good. Sales discount. And then they give that stuff to me up here. Even though, now note what this line is. It's hard to see, but you can look on your paper, you might be able to notice it. There's this little line. That tells me that there's a total here. And that's simply the total of these guys. These less items. So my sales less the total of my subtotal. Here's my subtotal to give me my final total. What is that called when I subtract those two? Revenue minus the returns and discounts equals what?
Total revenue?
Net sales.
Net sales. Yep. Now we're into the section, what usually goes right below net sales?
Cost of goods sold.
Yep, that's what we're going to put here. It's just what we're going to do instead of putting in a cost of goods sold, because they don't give it to us, we have to figure it. We're going to do all those steps that I just put on the board. We're going to say, what's the first thing that I put on the board for my inventory? In that inventory T account, the first thing that I listed was
56.
what?
56.
What is that?
Beginning.
You're right.
Inventory.
First.
Your beginning inventory. So I would put that 56 number. And then what's the main thing you do throughout the year when you have inventory? You put down your purchases. So I'm going to put my purchases next. And then since they give us, otherwise we don't know exactly which one this would be, but since they give us two items, which one on the inventory side had two of them besides, knowing purchases is gone? I had two of something on the same side and then one left on the other side.
Just purchase discounts and returns.
Yeah, were those less or add?
Less.
Less. So I would put in here my purchase discount and my purchase returns. Usually when you have a drop down, you have some kind of a total, but not always, but this one is.
Did we already put in discounts and returns? though?
We did, sales.
Oh, okay.
That was me giving a discount, this is me receiving a
Okay,
discount.
Yeah.
What do you think this might be? Not this. Net purchases. My purchases less what I returned and what I saved a little bit of money on. And then what's the only item left that I haven't taken care of to get my total inventory up to date?
Gross profit?
Not yet. I still have one more item I haven't accounted for in the purchase of my inventory.
Sales tax?
Nope. No sales tax when you buy inventory.
Shipping?
Yep. The shipping. And they call it on this one freight in. Now, if I add in my beginning inventory plus everything I bought plus the shipping, what's that tell you? That's a new term called cost of goods available for sale. That's how much I have ready to be sold. And that's what we can figure up here too. I could say before I get to this circle, make a total and say, how much inventory do I have to sell? I have my beginning stuff, plus the stuff I just bought, and the shipping minus some of the returns. This is titled right here, the cost of goods available for sale. How much do I have to sell? And then the next item is how much did I actually sell? My cost of goods sold number. So the cost of goods that actually did sell less what I still have in my ending inventory. So if I take the cost that I had possible to sell, less what I still have, what do you think that number is going to be? So just put in some pretend numbers. Say this was 600,000. It's not, but it'd be close. I had 600,000 less the 66 that I still have. So that 534,000.
What's your cost?
That's my cost of goods sold. That's how much I got rid of. Now, if you forget any of this, you can always go to the link to text, and they have pretty well laid out here what we just did.